Elena Madan, first of all, could you just explain the impact that labour migration has on children? It's an aspect of it that most people forget.
Indeed, the impact of labor migration has a great consequence on psycho-emotional status of children. We have researched this issue in Romania, Moldova and Ukraine, and we have discovered that children left behind are clearly more disadvantaged from the emotional point of view than their peers who remain home with their parents.
This is because they are separated from their parents.
Exactly.
And what is being done to try to improve their situation?
There are several approaches. First, of course, there is the legal framework and public policies which are put in place by state authorities. There are several laws which take care of the rights of the child who is separated from their parents. This is on one hand. On the other hand, there is the intervention from the NGOs at the local level, from the school, from the community, and from the families themselves.
How successful have these measures been, though, in trying to alleviate the sorts of pressures that children in particular feel?
Some initiatives have some impact, but very often there is a lack of human resources and adequate funding to have a real impact. So this is one point which is lacking. Second point would be there is not enough holistic approach, meaning there is always a focus on separate stakeholders which address the issue, but not something which takes into account the whole situation and the whole family.
Are there obstacles? I mean, have the people who've been trying to improve things for the children come across obstacles in their way?
There is a big challenge to ensure a proper communication between parents and children, especially when migration is already a fact. And this is a big challenge nowadays because of the internet, of the technologies. Sometimes parents cannot follow with the new technologies. The issue also of not being able to understand always the development stages of the child, and that communication needs to be adapted to that. Also, there is the challenge that children don't express themselves enough. They don't talk about their feelings, either because they are afraid, either because they want to cope with the stress and show to the parents that they are strong. So this is a big challenge.
Is there a role for the Council of Europe in this? Because I mean, there are laws about the rights of the child and so on, which I suppose if somebody has to go and work abroad, if that's the only job they can find, it's going to be overlooked, isn't it?
There is a social charter of the Council of Europe. Unfortunately, it's not always in force, as I understand, especially in ensuring the rights of the migrants in the destiny country, because children, migrant children, should have the same access to education, to life in the family, to allowances in order for them to be happy and have this well-being for development.
So how do you see the future? What's the next step? What more needs to be done? And by whom?
Needs to be done by all stakeholders involved in this sector, being it state structures or NGOs, families, schools, community, in order to have a real impact. Only one stakeholder cannot change the situation.
That's lovely. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And I will be asked not to let either of us move because they want to do cutaways of us both.
Okay.
So
we don't move.
No, we just sit here and try to pretend we're still having this conversation.
Having the conversation. What happened after you came in Moldova and you did this movie for